Hello and welcome. My name is Sonia Bella. Today I'd like to share with you how I draw a mandala. So follow along with me as we draw a mandala together from start to finish. We need some basic tools to begin. We need a pencil, a ruler, a compass, and a protractor, and an eraser, always handy. So let's get started. So we're going to begin by finding our center point. So we measure half the width of the page and top and bottom. And half the length of our page. And then we're going to draw lines to find our center point. Let's draw the line properly. Okay, once we have our center point, we can measure. We're going to start at 1.5 centimeters. We're going to put a mark at 1.5, and then every centimeter after that we will put a mark, and this is where we're going to draw our compass circles. Go all the way out. So next we take our compass and we find our center point with the tip, and we draw circles which intersect through the lines that we just, or the dots that we just created there. So we're just going to quickly draw our circles. So I have 7 circles. The first circle is 1.5 centimeters in radius from the center point. The next step here is to use our protractor to create our angled lines. So we're going to line the protractor up, center point in the center obviously, and the 90-degree angle on the line here, and 0 here. And I'm going to mark 15-degree angles for this one. So we start here with 15, 30, 45, 60, and 75. And then on the other side, we are going to do them at 105, 120, 135, 150, and 165. And we're going to repeat that on the other side of the circle. 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 105, 120, 135, 150, 165. Then we take our ruler and we're going to join the dots that we've just created going through the center point. So we line up our center point and we draw our lines. Now it's best to be as accurate as you can at this point. Obviously, if some of the lines are slightly off, it's perfectly fine. I don't think I've ever drawn a perfect grid. Just make sure you're going through the center point all the time. There we go. So our grid is complete. Okay, so now we're going to draw our mandala. So our first guideline here in the center, we're going to go just to the right of that. We're going to draw a little petal that crosses over one of those angled lines. So we're going to do a little curve like that. And then next to that, we're going to do the same thing, going over two little sections. And we're going to repeat that all the way around. Now, I do like to turn my work as I go, because I always find it easier to draw towards my body. And so the final shape will be like an ice cream cone shape. So we've got our ice cream topping, and then we've got the cone that goes down into the center. And that's the shape we're going to draw when we go over that with pen. But for now, we're just going to draw the basic curve of the petals. All the way around. Now, the reason I like to draw in pencil first is because we're already training our brain to create these shapes. So once our brain has become familiar with these shapes, and also our hand and our arm and our body and our energy, it's going to be a lot nicer experience to draw over these pencil lines with the pen, because we've already trained our body and our energy to create these lines. So for me, the pencil stage is really important. We're drawing to ease any anxiety. We're drawing to calm the mind, calm the body, and relax. So it's not about forcing anything. It's about gently coaxing these shapes and these lines out. So now we're going to take that center line, and we're going to use the second circle, and we're going to draw a curve going down like that to the point. So it's another petal shape, and we repeat that in the next segment. So turning our page as we go around, and you may find as you continue to draw these shapes, you start to get a little bit better at them. So the little tip has a point, and then it's coming swinging back around to the rounder shape base. This is a very common mandala shape. It can be a little tricky to get right the first time, but if you persist, you will definitely master it. Now, don't panic if some of the shapes aren't looking exactly as these ones. Whatever shape you do, just make sure that you repeat that shape all the way around. There are no errors in drawing mandalas, and that's what makes it such great therapy. If you do make what you might consider to be a mistake, if you repeat that mistake all the way around, essentially it becomes intentional. And people often look at my work and say, gosh, you never make any mistakes. Well, that's not true. I make many mistakes. I just repeat the mistake and integrate it into the design. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next circle, and we're going to draw a very similar shape. It's going to go offset, so in between. We're going to start our tip in between the two below, okay? So it becomes a balanced pattern, and we repeat that shape, and this time it's going to be a little bit larger because our circle is a little bit larger. And just lightly sketch. Don't grip the pencil too hard. Don't push too hard with the pencil. You want to be able to erase the lines if you have to. We don't want anything to be too permanent at this point because we're adjusting, we're shifting. We might change our minds. But don't forget, we're doing this to relieve stress. We're not causing stress. So the lighter you draw in a more sketchy way, the easier it is to make little updates and adjustments. And I really enjoy this phase. This is where I really train my body and train my energy into creating this pattern. This is where you can still be a little bit loose, and as the design evolves, you can still make adjustments and changes along the way. We're not committing to anything. When we commit to the design once we use the ink. So that's our third row. So pause the video at any time to catch up. I may be drawing faster than you. And once you've completed the row, then start it up again. Okay, so we're ready for row number 4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So between the 4th and the 5th circles that we've drawn, I'm going to put a marker halfway. And this is going to be the point that we start from in our 4th row. Now the reason for doing this is about balance. Okay, so visually I want to start going a little bit larger than our predetermined area. So halfway between the 4th and the 5th circle, you can either draw a circle at that halfway point, or you can just mark. So every second line I'm going to mark a little dot at the halfway point. And this is going to be our starting point for our next shape. So now we're going to start drawing the mandala out and expanding the design. So from our first marker, we're going to draw from here to the point of the petal below. But instead of drawing the same shape we've been drawing here, we're just going to bring it out and down. Okay, and repeat that on the other side. And we're going to turn and repeat as we go. You're hitting about halfway and then draw it down. So you're hitting on that line 5, on that circle number, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're hitting about the halfway mark as we cross it. Okay, that's the goal, roughly. Like I said before, we're drawing for fun. This is not the cause of stress. This is to relieve our stress. So if your shape looks a little bit different, go with it. There's no right and there's no wrong. The goal is just to repeat whatever shape it is you're doing all the way around as best you can. Okay, so while we're here, we're going to draw a new shape, and we're going to draw within that shape, we're going to draw a big petal shape like that. Now it's going to hit about halfway between rows 1, 2, 3, between 3 and 4, the circle 3 and 4, about halfway up, which is about the center of our new shape. That's the point we're going to aim to reach with this shape. Okay, and we're going to repeat that all the way around. So you could draw half and then repeat. This is a similar shape to what we've drawn here. So we're repeating that shape here. Back to the beginning. Once we've done that shape all the way around, we're going to repeat that shape but with a smaller version of it off to the side like this, and one on the other side. So we're going just above this line here, this circle here, just above that, to create that design. And we're going to repeat that all the way around. There we go. So don't forget to pause at any time to catch up. And we're going to continue on to the next round. So this pattern is going to be the same shape as this one here. Okay, so we're going to, from the right of the center line, we're going to go again between circles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Between circles 6 and 7, we're going to select our halfway, put a point at halfway. Every second line, we're going to put that little marker halfway. And the shape we draw will go from that point that we've just drawn down to this point here. And it's the same shape as this one here. And then we turn. We always need to know where we start and where we end, and adjust as we go. Because you've drawn this shape already, hopefully you're drawing it with a little bit more ease than you did when you first started. Okay, so we're up to our final row. What we're going to do is repeat this shape here. So our first shape, we're going to go from our last circle all the way down like that. We're just going to draw a really large version of that as best we can. Sketch, sketch, sketch. And the outer one we're going to hit the second last circle like that, and repeat the same on the other side. Then we're going to come in and draw a slightly shorter version of that within the one we just drew, like that. Okay, so we're going to repeat that all the way around. We start with our large one, hitting that final circle. We hit the second last circle. And then we create a smaller version inside. Okay, so we've completed our pencil sketch. So we're going to leave it like this for now, and we're going to move on with the ink. Now I have these particular pens, which are Staedtler pigment liners. I have a 1mm and a 0.5mm thickness. You can use any felt tip pens, of course, anything like a thicker one and a thinner one. So we're going to start with our thicker one, in this case the 1mm thickness. For this beginning stage, we're going to start where we started with the pencil, and we're going to create our petals in the middle, recreating the shapes that we created previously and dragging it down into the center, following along the line. Okay, so for the second row, we're going to take our pen and draw over the lines of these little shapes, twisting as we go. Now before we draw with pen, I do like to sit up straight back, feet flat on the floor. I like to have good posture, and it's also helpful to breathe in and out. As we're drawing the line, we're breathing out. So the line is an extension of our breath, and that way we're not holding our breath, we're not breathing, and we are letting the energy flow. The energy is flowing through our body, through our cells, and out onto the page. And now we're going to do the next row as well, which is the same repeated shape. So we should be pretty good at it by now. And we're going to draw that in, turning as we go. Okay, so let's keep going. We're going to start on the next round with our black ink. And we're going to do our petal shapes as well. Okay, and let's continue to the next row. And let's draw our large petals as well. I'm going to start by drawing the inner ones, and then the outer. Okay, it's looking good. So you are more than welcome to leave it at this stage. This is a great place to finish. This is a great achievement. But I do like to embellish my designs. So if you would like, you can grab either the same pen or a slightly thinner nibbed pen. In this case, I'm going for the 0.5. And we're going to start to do some details. First thing I would suggest is on this second row of petals here, we're just going to put tiny little U-shaped petals running down. Maybe 4, maybe 3, however many you can fit. There's no right and there's no wrong. All the way around. The next thing I'm going to do is some dots. So starting just outside the first row of petals, we're just going to concentrate our dots in the center. So we do the higher concentration of dots will be in the center. Moving outwards. Again, there's absolutely no right or wrong, but you just want the dots to sort of dissipate a little bit as they go towards the outer part of the petal and be more concentrated on the interior, on the inside part. And we just repeat that on all petals. This is a nice way to get a bit of shading, a bit of dimension into the artwork. And I feel like it always brings the design to life. Don't overthink it. Just imagine they're like little bubbles floating away from the source. So they're more concentrated at the source. And then there's less concentration of them as they flow outwards. Just keep your pen moving. Don't get stuck in one area too long. And we're going to just do a bit of a curvy line in there, and then a bit of a dot, just to create a little bit of movement. Then we're going to do very similar shapes to what we did here. We're going to do these on the larger shapes, right into the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many, could be 4, 5, 6. We're just going to repeat that all the way around to create a little decorative edge. So mandalas are often about repeating the same elements. And this is what makes a mandala design work. We're always taking certain elements and repeating them. And this creates familiarity and logic. Our minds want to put everything into some order, into some structure. And that's why a design that repeats will make sense. So that's why we've repeated these shapes here. We've repeated these shapes and these curves as well are represented here. So everything makes sense. We're also going to repeat the dots around these shapes here. We're going to concentrate the dots in these little areas and then spread them out as they go towards the outer edge of the shape. So we're not overthinking these dots. I like to start with a simple configuration like that and then come in and concentrate the dots towards the center part. Dotting definitely takes up a little bit more time, but I find it quite soothing, and I find the effect, it's definitely worth the extra effort. The effect is quite stunning at the end. It just takes your artwork to that next level, so do persist. For the next part, we're going to take our original thicker pen, our 1mm nib, and we're going to shadow this line here. So we're going to basically complete the same line shape on the inside like that. It has less of that upper movement, so we're going to just keep it more like this shape actually. Then we're going to take our thinner nibbed pen, so a 0.5 thick nib, and we're going to do some more decorative shapes. In this little track that we've created here, we're just going to do these oblong shapes like that. So starting at the center and then working our way down. We're going to turn our page slightly so they start to sit at that lovely angle there. Okay, so we repeat the same on the other side. Like that. Just creates a lovely little decorative edge, a decorative border. And we're going to repeat that on all the petal shapes. So now we're going to create some dark areas. So we're going to take our original 1mm nibbed pen and we're going to draw some small shapes in these two areas here, just to create a bit of depth and a bit of dark. So we're just going to create a small shape, just like that, like a little petal type shape, and we're going to colour that in. Completely optional, of course, you don't have to do this. There we go. And we're going to repeat that now on the larger section. So we're going to probably put a dot about halfway right in the center and create a similar shape and color it in. So a dot in the center. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to mirror this shape again. We're going to colour. And the final step is the outer edge. So in these areas here, we're going to repeat our dots. And we're going to bring them just up to the edge here. And we are done. I hope you enjoyed drawing this mandala with me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.